What do you call a guy that uses testosterone replacement therapy as birth control? Sometimes you end up calling him dad. That's right. Often when you're on testosterone replacement therapy, your sperm counts are going to be greatly reduced and sometimes completely suppressed. Now, with that being said, there have been some mishaps. There's a small percentage of guys that seem to be able to stay fertile while on testosterone replacement therapy. And today we're going to go ahead and break down some of the nuance. If you're wanting to stay on TRT, how can you remain fertile? We're going to be going over mostly HCG, also talking about Clomid and maybe some other supplements, how long this process takes, and other nuances. So first, let's talk about testosterone replacement therapy and how this messes with our fertility. Now, if you're a guy and you have a low testosterone number and you're definitely feeling it, you say, hey, let's go ahead and try out testosterone replacement therapy to raise my levels to help with drive, mood, libido, motivation. Now, the issue with that is if your body's only asking for, let's say, 250 and we give your body 1,000, it's going to shut down its natural production. And one of the major issues with this is FSH and LH, the signal that comes from the brain and goes down to your testes to produce testosterone, are also very important for helping you produce sperm. This process roughly takes 60, 74 days, depending on your source, from all the way in the total process from stem cell until ejaculation, you're looking at usually 90 plus days. And when I talk with my guys, is these signals from the brain need to be going to your testes uninterrupted. It's kind of like if you plant a seed in your backyard. You can't water the seed for 2 to 3 weeks and then let it go for a month. Those seeds will die. You're gonna have to go out and replant new seeds. So this process needs to be continuously fertilized and support. If you cut out halfway through, you're gonna have to start all over. And so with this whole process of taking exogenous testosterone, our natural production will be shut down. And often with this comes a shrinking of your testes and your ejaculatory volume. Now, this greatly varies by each individual. Like I said, some guys even remain fertile. Well, most won't, and most will experience quite a bit of testicular shrinkage. Other guys hardly experience any. So this is a very nuanced area. So what are your options? Well, if you want as a guy, you can just jump on testosterone replacement therapy, and then you can go and do a sperm sample and see what's going on, aka just do nothing. Most often though, your fertility is going to be pretty low. So while it's not great for birth control, it's not also great for thinking that you're fertile, kind of really in this no man's land of not really knowing what's going on. And while there is a little bit of nuance with using the form of testosterone, for using injectable cypionate or enanthate, you're looking at a 7 to 10 day half-life. So these medications are going to remain in your system upwards 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 weeks, depending on your detoxification ability. And while that medication is in, you are going to have suppressed fertility. Now, there's arguments when this comes to creams, which have somewhere between a 12 to 24-hour half-life. The oral has a 2 to 4 hour half-life. While you're taking these, though, you're most likely going to be suppressed upwards to 90 days from your last dose. Something like a cypionate is going to take 6 to 8 weeks for that to get completely out of your system, your FSH and LH to come back online, and from there, you're most likely going to be fertile in, usually I say 90 to 120 days. So if you did your last shot of testosterone cypionate today, it's going to take 6-ish weeks to get out of your system, and then an additional 90 to 120 days from there to be fertile. So this is something to take into consideration if you're doing some family planning, that it may take 4 or 5 months for you to become fertile after starting testosterone replacement therapy and then stopping. From a mechanism of action standpoint, using a cream or using an oral, it would make sense that those are going to be out of your system in a couple of days. So your fertility is most likely going to come back online quicker. There are some who argue that using the cream or using the oral form can help you maintain fertility because the shutdown is not as strong and it doesn't last as long. I haven't found a good balance of this. If you've been using either of these and you have remained fertile, I'd love to hear your feedback below. I know that's one of the areas that specifically the oral people are really advocating for, is that they say it doesn't shut down your production as much. Me personally, I've done the oral. My FSH and LH were pretty much nothing. And the few other guys that I've experienced using the oral, we had the same outcome. And the other thing that I noticed with the oral is over a long period of time, the estrogen dropped, and that's a whole other subject for another time. But basically, I'm just kind of elaborating on, you could probably plan, if you're using the cream or the oral, that your time to become fertile may be shorter than if you're using like an injection or, the pellets. I didn't even talk about pellets. That's going to be, if you put the pellets in today, it's going to take 8 to 12 weeks for that to get out of your system for your fertility to come back line. So most often that's going to be even longer. Now, this is where HCG steps in. HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin. This is released by women when they are pregnant. And in men, this hits the LH receptor in our testes and helps us produce testosterone, and also hits the FSH and the Sertoli cells and helps us produce sperm. Now, these mechanism of actions are slightly debated, but what we do see in men when they're using HCG is their fertility comes back online. Now, there's several caveats with HCG. If you've seen my podcast with Dave Lee, he's not a big advocate for it as he's skeptical. HCG is not naturally produced in men. If it is, it's in a very, very, very low amount. It can be produced in men where there's some health issues like germ cell tumors, pituitary tumors. So usually in a healthy male, they're not going to be producing HCG. So the skepticism comes in is like, hey, this isn't really a bioidentical hormone for a man. We don't understand its peripheral mechanisms, actions. Is it doing things in other parts of the body that we don't understand? With that being said, for the last 30, 40, 50-ish years, lots of men have been using it simultaneously with testosterone replacement therapy. It is FDA approved drug, but there's still plenty of things to be skeptical of in the way that we're using it. The other thing with HCG is it increases our intertesticular testosterone. And the way I usually explain this to guys is your testosterone's 200. We put you on replacement therapy. You jumped up to 1,000. We are now giving your body testosterone, and you're going to have a healthy amount of it that gets aromatized, turned into estrogen. Now, the testosterone that's injected in your shoulder, most likely is less of it's going to be aromatized into estrogen compared to the testosterone that's in your gonads. You're going to have more aromatase enzyme in your gonads, which in my opinion is a good thing, but things can get wonky because of what you're injecting in your shoulders and then what you're producing naturally. And so what I do see with HCG compared to just testosterone replacement therapy is often more side effects. Now, I don't know if it's from the estrogen, if it's from other things that like Dave has chatted about that we are skeptical of, but I usually do see more side effects with HCG than testosterone replacement therapy alone. It may also be raising DHT levels higher, as in the same way that it did with estrogen and aromatizing in your testes. The same thing could be happening with more 5-alpha reductase in raising your DHT. So what I do see in guys often, which can be a benefit, is increase in their sexual performance and in sensitivity. Now, I've actually had guys use HCG to the point where they actually had premature ejaculation. I've also seen it induce acne and irritation in guys. And then this is just my experience, and I think it's usually just in higher doses, but something to consider if you're thinking about using HCG. Now, as far as the numbers go, though, we have a couple of studies that I usually reference. And there's a study out of Baylor where they had guys on testosterone replacement therapy, and they had some on placebo, and then they had some on several doses of HCG. What they found is that when guys used 125 IUs every other day of HCG, their intertesticular testosterone was 25% less than baseline. When guys were using 250 IUs of HCG every other day, their levels were 7% less than baseline. And when guys were using 500 IUs every other day, they were actually 26% above baseline. And then from a safety perspective, there are protocols as high as 3,000 IUs 3 times a week or every other day. So you can see quite a bit of a difference when someone's doing 125 IUs every other day versus 3,000 every other day. Now, the other caveat is HCG has a 24 to 36 hour half-life. So in my patients, I recommend that we're injecting every other day to 3 times a week. I had a patient once who was on HCG to restore his fertility, and after being on it for several months, his fertility came back online. He called me on the way to the airport and said, "Doc, I forgot my HCG on the counter. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. Is that going to be okay?" I said, I don't know. I actually don't think so, because after about half a week, a lot of that HCG is going to be out of your system. And like we said earlier, you're not going to be watering the seeds. You're not going to be giving your testes the HCG to help keep the sperm growing and keep yourself fertile. What we did find out, yes, he came back 2 weeks later and his fertility was greatly decreased. So if you're doing like an HCG, this is something that you need to be doing at least a couple times a week. The other issue with HCG is that it needs to be kept cold. It's a peptide that is actually pretty fragile, so you want to make sure that after you mix it, you're keeping it in the refrigerator, and then traveling with it can also become an issue. Often I have guys pre-draw up syringes, which again, some people don't like because you may be exposing yourself to more plastic, but this is the decisions that you have to make. There's no free lunch. You're going to have positives and negatives from every area, from every protocol, from every health perspective. There's going to be good things and bad things. But so I have them pre-draw up syringes, throw it in a plastic bag, and then put it in a traveling canteen that you can keep in your backpack. And And once they get through TSA, I just have them throw some ice in that container. Those will usually last for 2 to 3 days to be kept cold. And then the other nuance issue that we have with HCG is previously it was a drug that was a non-biologic. The FDA reclassified it as a biological drug, so therefore it can't be compounded anymore. Lo and behold, after that happened, there was a national shortage because they stopped compounding pharmacies from making it. And then what do you know? The price doubled and tripled. So HCG has become more expensive. Usually you're looking at $300, $400 for a bottle, which will last you, depending on your dose, 2 to 3 months. Now, the vial is going to tell you to throw it out after 60 days. And as a doctor, I have to tell you to listen to that. But it's another thing to consider if you're needing to stay fertile is affordability and price point. And then because of that, we go to look at other areas. To me, HCG is the tried and true method. People have been using that for 40, 50 years. I've had one patient, he was in his late 40s and had been on testosterone since his mid 20s. We put him on HCG while being on testosterone, and his sperm came back in line in about 100 days. So something we did kind of skip over in the beginning is that I personally have never seen a man who we knew to be fertile get on testosterone replacement therapy and become infertile forever. I have a whole video on that. TRT is forever. Now, with that being said, there may be some nuanced cases of men who were infertile before starting testosterone replacement therapy, but at this point, I feel very confident that if a man is going on testosterone replacement therapy, he's not in danger of permanently wrecking his fertility. Now, on top of HCG, there are a couple other medications that are very popular. FSH and HMG. Now, we talked about how HCG works on that LH receptor. You can actually get bioidentical FSH, and you can also get HMG. This is another hormone that women produce that has both FSH and LH action from that drug. The issue with both of these is they're both extremely expensive. A combination of using HCG with HMG or FSH, you're going to be looking at $2,000 to $5,000 a month. And if you need to do this for 3 to 4 months to remain fertile, it's a pretty big price point. And then on top of that, if you want to go on TRT and just remain fertile all the time, a lot of guys will choose to do HCG while being on testosterone replacement therapy because they don't like the testicular shrinkage. And then they also don't want to mess with the family planning. They want to be fertile at all times for whenever it's needed. So while I do think that using HCG, FSH, and HMG would be superior, the price point there in getting it is difficult. And up to this point, I've never had to use those. HCG has been sufficient. Now, another area that's been widely explored since the changing of HCG from a drug to a biologic, people have moved over to Clomid, aka clomiphene citrate. We chatted about that a lot on this channel. Clomid is a selective estrogen receptor modulator, meaning it blocks estrogen on the brain. Your brain in turn releases more gonadotropin releasing hormone. This goes to your pituitary, and then your pituitary produces more FSH and LH. This goes down to your testes to produce more testosterone. Now, my clinical experience, when we first started having issues getting HCG, I used Clomid and I found that it didn't keep any of my guys fertile. Now, I could be wrong. If that's worked for you, please let me know in the comments below your dose and your frequency. I haven't found it to work, which sucks because Clomid's usually pretty cheap and it's oral. So you don't have to worry about the things with HCG like the price, injecting, mixing, and keeping it cool. I just haven't seen it as a viable option. And then on top of that, a lot of guys get side effects from using Clomid. Moodiness, vision disturbances, temperature fluctuations, all kinds of not fun stuff. Now, another one is Gonadorelin. This is a GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone analog, so it works similar in the brain to tell your body to produce more FSH and LH. Again, this one I used very briefly on a handful of guys, did not get a ton of success. And my estimation, it's probably because its half-life is so short. It's 2 to 4 minutes, so maybe you get a pulsatile of FSH and LH upwards to 2 hours. But unless, like we said earlier, you're able to keep that action going, the testosterone is ultimately going to overcome that and suppress your FSH and LH, and then the sperm you have is going to become inviable. And then supplements. Supplements are going to fall into a similar category of Clomid or Gonadorelin. There's just really nothing in any supplement that is going to be able to overcome the suppression that comes from testosterone replacement therapy. Now, that doesn't mean that most likely these supplements can't help with your sperm if you're on HCG. HCG. So something like a CoQ10, ubiquinol, L-carnitine, magnesium, zinc. These things can be great for helping increase motility, mitochondrial health, and detox, but they're really not going to be able to help you with fertility while you're on testosterone replacement therapy. So to kind of recap everything, once you're on testosterone replacement therapy, you're going to be shutting down your body's natural production. HCG, in my opinion, is the most tried and true method. It's controversial of its long-term effects on men's health. However, a low protocol of 125 IUs every other day has the ability to restore spermatogenesis into somewhere between 250 and 500 IUs every day will get you back to baseline and above. I really haven't had any success in using something like a Clomid or Gonadorelin. HMG and FSH are great. They're just a little bit too expensive. And doing nothing and using supplements are probably not going to help you out either. So usually with my guys, we have this conversation. We talk about their options and decide. Most often, if you're using HCG while you're on TRT, you will remain fertile. And so if I have a guy who's just using TRT and he's interested in getting his fertility back, option one is add HCG. You're most likely going to be fertile in somewhere between 90 to 100 days. We'll usually do something like 150 to 250 IUs every other day, depending on if he gets any side effects. And then on the other end, he can come off the testosterone. Now, most of my guys, we use injectable testosterone replacement therapy. So it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks, like we said previously, for that testosterone to clear and that HCG to bring your sperm back online. So that might be 4 to 5 months for fertility to return. Also, in those circumstances, maybe you can add on some enclomiphene once the testosterone cypionate is out of your system. I don't think it's necessary, but it may be slightly helpful. So this is just my 2 cents and working with my guys and my clinical experience. I'd love to hear you guys out there if you're currently on a protocol or you've had some experience getting your fertility back after being on testosterone replacement therapy. And if you found this topic interesting, I think you'd like this other video that I did. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, stay vigilant, my friends, and God bless.